I forgot to talk about Michelle. Michelle is an incredible person, as I just said in the episode. Um, I am really excited for the season. I loved her on that season. Obviously, she's a beautiful person, but you can tell that it goes deeper than that. I mean, she's just a good person. She is so calm, collected, chill, and just easygoing. And I'm excited to see her fall in love. I love that she's so quick-witted. When people say stuff, she's really just in the moment. She's hearing it, processing it, and reacting accordingly, actually. Like really well, whether it's just good flirty banter or actual awkward lines that some of the guys say, because last week, ooh, there were some interesting ones. She handles herself incredibly, just great. Oh, why am I trying to think of more words? She's really just kind of great. And from watching last week's episodes, some of the guys seem all right. Obviously, Nate stood out as a, you know, he got the first impression rose, so I think that says it in itself. I trust Michelle's judgment. Nate was great. Jamie was interesting. I'd like to see more of him. I feel that he's very much always on, and I'm not saying that it doesn't feel genuine. I think he's just that type of person, which, you know, if he is, what was he, biotech, um, he's got a biotech company, so he's the CEO, I guess. Anyway, so, you know, maybe he's good in a setting where he's meeting people and whatnot, but something about it reads, I don't know how else to say it other than he's just kind of always on. So yeah, we'll see where that goes. And there are a couple of others that I'd like to get to know. You never know. If first date has all those nerves and those jitters, and some people don't handle it well, I wonder if some of them might get a little better and kind of ease into it and be more themselves, because there were a lot of gimmicks this night one. And you know, for some of them it did feel natural, I guess, but for most of them it felt like a gimmick, which doesn't feel like you're meeting their authentic selves. And for what this show is about, you kind of want to get to know their authentic self, because I mean, at the end of this, you're hoping to be engaged, right? And yeah, some of those gimmicks. So I'm intrigued to see a lot of these guys and how they grow, I guess. Okay, I think I've babbled enough. I love Michelle. I think she's gonna do great. I mean, if night one can be a perfect example, I mean, it really is. She seems to know what she wants. She has a strong head on her shoulders, and she doesn't make people feel discomfort in any way, like how she handled the whole Joe situation. You know, she was very calm, cool, and collected. And that, I mean, the first night must have felt like such a blur, actually. You just go from conversation to conversation to conversation. Do you actually really remember much? I guess your favorites would definitely stick out. Sorry, English. There's something about Rodney's energy that I do kind of like. Although that Granny Smith apple thingy was was something. But, you know, first night nerves. I get it. What's his name? Brick. His eyes just being so piercing like that with the dark lashes, he's beyond lucky to have that. But he looks like Prince Eric from Little Mermaid. I could not get that out of my head as I was watching the first episode. Also, like, I liked his entrance, actually. Of all the gimmicks, it was kind of funny. I Again, it was like this, he didn't feel all the way comfortable in it, which some of the people just felt that way with their gimmicks. But I liked what he had to say. Um, I thought it was quirky, I guess. The whole, like, oh, you know, fully matured at 32 and blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know. It was great. It was really good. But his energy suddenly shifted when he actually got out from underneath the table, which I found really interesting, especially in juxtaposition with what he was saying when he sat with her on the couch for the first time. He was like, you know, I want to be someone in the house where you can go to just laugh and chill and have fun and blah blah blah. But he was saying it in this tone that had so much brevity to it that I was just like, are you though? I don't know. You kind of seem like more on the intense and, you know, that side of things, which is, it's not a bad thing. It's just does not go along with the words that are coming out of your mouth. I guess I just, with Rick, kind of worry that he just really wants to have a relationship, which, again, not a bad thing, but I hope he's not the type that's just gonna force it to happen, you know? Oh my god, Clayton. Sorry, he just came up on the screen. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and talk about. I think it's pretty much general knowledge at this point that he's the next Bachelor. Really weird how we know that going into this. Um, it almost, in a weird way, it almost paints him in a bad light for me to start off on, because now it's getting that feeling of, gosh, was he kind of like a Thomas? Did he just come on the show? And not that I'm saying that Thomas was like this, because that's a whole other conversation. But, you know, him being accused of just coming on the show to be the next Bachelor. But I can't help but now, in watching him on the show, kind of have that film over him. As I watch, it's just that, okay, he's the next Bachelor. So is he genuine over here in how he's approaching Michelle and actually delving into a connection or a relationship? Does he actually make it far? And again, sort of that thing of like, is he really in it, or is he hoping for the next Bachelor spot? Also, his entrance was kind of like, really? I'm Maybe I'm a prude. I don't know. I'm not much into the sexual innuendo jokes. I don't mind it so much, like, as friends when you're hanging out, then it's like, oh, ha ha, very funny. But this situation, you're meeting someone, if you're not Joe, for the first time, and essentially here to get to know them, potentially fall in love, and get engaged. I don't know. You started off on a sexual innuendo? I mean, if I met someone at a bar and they started off a conversation like that with me, I would walk away very, very fast. I mean, you're a girl, right? And you get that sort of comment, and you're just like, cool, so you're just in it for that? Awesome. That shows me exactly, you know, where you're at. So, also, like, I'm sorry. I would also be thinking about her sweet, adorable parents will be watching this. She's potentially sitting at home with her, like, cute as a button parents with this long, loving relationship that they've had. And they're all just, like, sitting and watching the first episode. And there's a few guys back to back to back. They're just making those jokes. Really? I don't know. Will has some great energy too. I don't know about a connection between them, but I think he's gonna be hilarious in the house. I do like Peter. I mean, his entrance was borderline obnoxious, but it felt genuine to him, which is why I was like down for it. Brennan seems sweet. I kind of wish in his entrance when he said, "I wanted you to see what it would be like waking up next to me for the rest of your life." He should have said, "Waiting, I wanted to see what it would be like waking up next to you for the rest of your life." But you know, Chris, I don't know what to make about Chris S. I really don't. Um, we're just going to see more about him, I guess. It's tough, the whole DM ghosting thing. Because it's like, at one point, we've all done it. Um, I myself probably did it twice, I think, and I hated it, so I don't do it. Now I just wait till I get home and I send a message. um, but, obviously, still a couple of guys that ended up happening to. So I can imagine where it's like sometimes it is easier to just let things fizzle. And I mean, it sounds like those are really tough times to be going through. So, why do I feel like Nate's the type of guy that, like, he's probably dated a few girls, but I do think he's genuine in it. It's just, I don't know what I'm trying to say over there, but for someone who probably would be a player, I don't think he's a player. I don't know. He's the type of guy that you kind of hope that you would meet at a bar where it's like a good looking dude, but doesn't use that to his advantage. Um, and it's not a player, basically. Or maybe that's just wishful thinking. Okay, this staircase. It feels so awkward to me. Obviously, it's great for that first entrance, but that's a long staircase, and then there's a long walk to the actual sofas. It's a lot of silence to just walk through. I feel like I would start just grabbing like a comforter and putting it on the railing and just sliding down. Just to speed the things up just a little bit. You don't need to watch me walk down all these stairs. Probably internally just hoping that I trip. Just to have some sort of excitement going on. The hangout for the cocktail party is in the same space as the rose ceremony. That's what it seems like. They just go from one half of the room to the other half. This hotel doesn't have another space. That interesting. I mean, I guess it makes things easy, both sets being in sets. Anyway, you know what I mean. They would make such. I'm gonna pause. Nate and Michelle, if they walked into a dinner party and I didn't know who the heck they were, I mean, they're the type of couple that walks in, you look at them, and you're just like, that checks out. And especially if you had a conversation with them, oh my god, that would just be the stamp of approval. I mean, it would just be solid. That checks out. I love them. I love them together.